Today's subject: how to inspire the youth to be the future empowered leaders. See, I will present few points, trigger the dialogue, trigger the Vakyartha Sadas. Actually, this is the typical Hindu way of education. In Hindu tradition, first Shravana, the truths are uttered, powerful cognitions are revealed. Then Vakyartha Sadas is conducted. In the modern day, what we call as panel discussion. The Vakyartha Sadas is conducted for people to do manana, internalizing, then live that truths, nididhyasana. Fundamentally, the dharma-based religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, the various sampradayas, traditions of Hinduism, all these dharma-based religions focus on enlightenment, Jivan Mukti. How the science of Jivan Mukti, living enlightenment, can empower our youth, inspire our youth to be the future empowered leaders is the subject. When few days before we had one session, with the same thought current, but from the different perspective. Now the perspective is little larger. Humanity is struggling to transmit best input, knowledge, powerful cognitions from the ancient traditions to the next generation due to the powerful and brutal oppression by modernism. Please understand, modernism is the most oppressing. People think modernism is most liberating. No. In reality, modernism is the most oppressing than any other regime. Modernism oppresses, snatches away all the great possibilities from the human beings without analyzing. Modernism just neglects the great possibilities and powers of the ancient wisdom. Never ever our masters, the ancient masters, enlightened beings, struggled so much to pass the science of enlightenment to the next generation as we are struggling in this era. Science is used with the racist and anti-dharmic tradition attitude, not just Hindu phobia, it's actually Hindumesia. Science and rationality is used very well by the racist forces to completely clear the contributions of the ancient enlightened civilizations. If I look at how the Hindu narrative itself is getting attacked, I can present just few powerful truths which you can all discuss about, have a conversation. First thing, Hinduism reveals the multiple possibilities and multiple powers consciousness holds. Hinduism elaborately gives the science of manifesting those powers. The philosophies, ideologies which denies the higher possibilities and higher powers of humanity has pushed human beings into depression. I want all of you to know, I am not talking about the great powers and possibilities of Hinduism just to get people out of depression. I am talking about the great powers and possibilities of consciousness presented in Hinduism because it is truth. Not enlightenment alone, multiple possibilities which manifest along with enlightenment, practice of enlightening spiritual practices, whether it is vipassana from Buddhism or upasana in Hinduism or nirvikalpa samadhi from yogic tradition, all these great spiritual practices not only gives you the enlightenment experience, it opens up multiple powers and possibilities. Next generation need to taste those powers and possibilities. Understand? The modern youth, whom I call people between the age of 18 to 40, I should say most unfortunate people, because by the time they are 40, They are almost done with the life. All possible pleasures they have been taught. All possible joys they have been told. What youth calls freaking out, or they are done with everything, whether drugs or pleasures of senses. They are done with everything, and they do not know what to do further. One of the greatest thing in Hinduism, you can never be done with life. Even if you are a tyagi, renunciant, sannyasi, there is so much to explore in the inner world. The possibilities and powers of the inner world, when you touch it, you never feel you are done with it, you are done with life. Never the excitement for life disappears. I should say, excitement for being alive, life, becomes your very quality only when you open your inner possibilities and powers. When a person does not touch the inner possibilities and powers, not only he will feel tired and bored about life, depression is inevitable. Almost all the governments in the world have come to a kind of a space. They have no answer for the problems youth are facing now. They just say, what can be done? Let's drag. And unfortunately, modernism is not allowing the mass to start looking into the solutions from the ancient traditions. I am here to trigger one conversation. My only job, my only purpose is to trigger one conversation. The possibilities and powers of Vedas and Agamas described in ancient enlightened civilizations is true. When I propose it is true, naturally someone will say, yes, it is true. Someone will say, no, maybe half true. Someone will say, no, whole thing is lie. That conversation will start. That is what is the panel discussion. But let us start exploring. At least one part of the people will come to the conclusion it is true. Once you come to the conclusion it is true, then we can enter into the subject. How? How we can taste it. How we can experience it. How we can imbibe it. How we can make that as a part of our life. With this question, Hinduism begins. The first verse of the Brahma Sutra Tatato Brahma Jignasat. Let us inquire into the reality of the existence. The whole cosmos, in Sanskrit we call it Jagat, and individual soul, self, Jiva, Ishvara, which is the source for the Jagat and Jiva. In Sanskrit we use the word Ishvara. In English, roughly you can translate as God. Even the intellectual understanding about the Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat from any tradition of dharmic religion. Please understand. Shaivism describes Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat in one way. Vaishnavism describes Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara in another way. Buddhism describes Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat in another way. In Buddhism itself, different traditions describes it in different way. But I tell you, from my own personal experience, whether you start practicing Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shakta, or Gaumara, Ganapatya, or Buddha, Jaina, any of this tradition, all these traditions are true. All these traditions take you to the zone, take you to the space they promise. If you start getting introduced about Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat, means the universe, self and God from Buddhism, and start practicing Buddhism, what Buddhism promises, you achieve it. Same way, if you get introduced about Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat, the universe, self and God from Shaivism, what Shaivism promises, you get that. Each of this tradition is absolutely true. One of the most beautiful thing with a dharmic religion, dharma-centric religion, we always seek the higher and higher truths. It is discussion seeking centric religions, spiritual traditions. Neither we convert nor we terrorize. All dharma based traditions, whether Buddhism or Hinduism or Jainism, Sikhism, all of us, we don't believe in conversion because we never used religion as a political tool. We never believed in the number game. We believed in the quality. It was, our religion was more a research and development R&D department for us, not the marketing product. We never looked at our religion from the angle of marketing and making the religion as a product easy to market. No. We looked at the religion more from the angle of research and development. We never developed the religion for marketing. That's why we neither believe in conversion nor focus in conversion. First. Second, absolutely we don't believe in converting people through violence or terrorism. That is why Hindus are the most peaceful community all over the world. Forget about, we don't promote terrorism. We don't even have gangsters. The only ethnic group in US which does not have gangsters is Hindus. All of you will be aware. I always repeat this. Lowest crime rate is the Hindu households. Go to any US prison, you will not find a single Hindu name. Almost zero. Almost 0% Hindus in US prison. I can give you so many inputs. All dharma-based religions, all enlightenment, moksha-centric traditions are true, and the possibilities and powers these moksha-centric traditions promote are true. We just need to make our youth interested in these powers and possibilities the dharma-centric traditions talk about. It's all about youth seeing or tasting the possibilities and powers demonstrated in Vedic tradition, in our sacred books, in reality. We have established around 463 extraordinary spiritual powers from the Veda Agama tradition. Demonstrably, we have documented it and demonstrated it, whether teleporting, materializing, or mind over the matter, or the consciousness over the matter. Multiple things we have demonstrated, documented under controlled conditions. Actually, one of the Asia Book of Records we did is 108 third eye awakened people demonstrating the powers of third eye at a time, same time. 108 people demonstrating the powers of the third eye. That was one of our Asia Book of Records. All we need to do is youth need to see the possibilities and powers of dharmic traditions. How an individual can start living enlightenment and how it can trigger the great possibilities and powers, and how that can manifest the eternal excitement, nitya utsaha, eternal excitement for life. See, in Hindu tradition, we have basic scripture Veda. Then each sampradaya has their own agama. Shaivas have Shaivagama, Saktas have Shaktagama, and Vaishnavas have Vaishnavagama, Jains have Jain Agama, Buddhists have their own scriptures. Each tradition have their own agama, and each one comment, each one respond, each one tradition answers the basic questions of life. From my experience, I wanted to share with you all these dharmic traditions are real. You can explore Jiveshwara Jagat, means self, world and God, from Shaivite tradition or Vaishnavite tradition, Shakta tradition, Buddhist tradition, Jain tradition, any of these traditions, whatever those traditions promise, you reach that. Essence, what I want to convey today, all these dharmic traditions are real. The powers and possibilities described in these dharmic traditions are real. We just need to trigger the interest of the youth on these traditions by demonstrating these possibilities and these powers. If the youth is inspired to explore the conscious powers, conscious possibilities, not only they become leaders, the life negativity leaves them once and for all. All the problems modern day youth is facing not only solved, those problems become irrelevant. It is just simple work of introducing the super possibilities and superpowers of the dharmic traditions to youth. Constantly we face a challenge when we take our dharmic traditions to the youth. The biggest challenge we face is making them taste it. I tell you, if we can make them taste it, not only they become empowered leaders, they will become the people who will carry the science to the next generation. Again, the same question comes, how to make them taste it? When that question comes, the only answer is introduce them to this power manifestation science. It's verily available. We have revived the Vedas and Agamas made the sciences user friendly, made it available to everyone. I request everyone to experience it, enjoy it, enriched by it, and share it with the whole world. I just checked with my Kailasa Los Angeles head how much more time I have. They said I have time. I can speak a little more. I'll share just few more truths. Concept of birth and death, concept of body, principle of mind, cognitions about the consciousness, concept of karma, concept of higher reality, concept of higher world, concept of rebirth. In this way, there are 1,000 major important principles. All dharmic traditions agree. Please understand, all dharmic traditions. Hinduism's different sampradaya like Shaivism, all the Shanmatas, Ganapatya, Gaumara, Shakta, Saiva, Saura, Vaishnava, all the sampradayas and Jaina, Buddhism, all these sampradayas accept multiple life truth. Our consciousness takes multiple lives. It goes through cycle of birth and death. All these traditions accept the concept of karma. All these traditions accept the concept of higher reality. All these traditions accept the existence of higher time zones, the vertical time zones, the higher mandalas, the common truths. All these tradition accepts around 1,000 truths. I have clearly organized and presented in one book my commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It's not just on commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It's actually the commonly accepted spiritual truths from all these traditions compiled. If we can start cognizing those higher truths, start functioning from those powerful cognitions, simply we manifest powers. Please understand, if you cognize you are a body, you will feel tiredness and laziness is justified. If you feel you are a mind, the boredom is justified. But if you decide to cognize your consciousness, tiredness and boredom become illegitimate. Even if it exists, it comes and goes. You know it is illegitimate. It cannot be justified. Tiredness and boredom loses its justification to exist if you cognize you are a consciousness. A man who started practicing his consciousness and seeing that tiredness and boredom is losing its grip on him, starts manifesting his possibilities. And when he starts living without even remembering how he used to get tired, how he used to get bored, he manifests powers. This is the simple introduction I can give about the possibilities and powers. If we can introduce just cognitive shift can bring possibilities and powers to the modern youth, to our next generation, we can easily transmit the science of living enlightenment to the next generation. That's all I am trying to propose. So, we have thousands of Bhagavad Gita books and living enlightenment books available for free distribution. Not only you can pick up your copy freely, anybody, your friends, family, your community members, anyone you want to gift, you can pick up a copy for them too. Please share it and celebrate it, enrich and enjoy it. With this, I thank everyone for being here. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. And thank you all for doing what you are doing. And I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhatvaita Saivam Paramadvaitam, the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness of Kailasa, Maha Kailasa, of Paramashiva. Paramashivoham, Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.